Hey everybody, Felix Stoffelbaker here. I wanted to make a video because people don't understand the risk reward and just the asymmetric bet and insurance policy on the new financial system. A bet on the new financial system and a hedge against the current is that when you buy Bitcoin, you're actually divesting your fiat. And that is so important because fiat is literally the cause of all of the problems that are going on politically, geopolitically, economically, all the way down to what you eat is all determined by money printing. And that sounds really crazy, but people aren't even considering that fertilizer price, which is energy, goes up, then that's connected to everything. And you've got just so many layers of this different type of stuff going on that when fertilizer goes up, you might feel 100, 200, 300% increase in prices at the grocery store, but there's 60 million people in an underdeveloped country where they have no running water that literally die because there's no food, because the energy prices are too high. And how that connects into money printing, because if you're printing more money, you're devaluing all of the currency that's already in the market, which makes each one worth less. And then you have to use more of them, more of your time, effort, and work to be able to accumulate the same amount. And it's basically a stealing of your wealth, your time, your everything, your energy, your life force. And what they are after is your soul in the end. And they'll take anything, but they want you not here. And once you get that, it starts to make a lot of sense, and why you would want to divest your fiat into Bitcoin and into a deflationary currency during a hyperinflationary collapse. And that's going to be the only thing that allows you to basically stay in your current lifestyle. And if you ever wanted to potentially move up and have mobility into other social classes, that would be right now basically the general public's only option. There are a couple others like EOS and stuff, but you got to understand that people who don't even know what blockchain is, just getting them understand that fiat money is the problem and that they need a hard money, real money, money that can't be confiscated, all that type of stuff, is the essence of, the problem, because they can't even comprehend that. So you're not even going to be able to get them to get on the level of, some of the stuff that I talk about with EOS, where it's pretty complex if you haven't really been there from the start and understand the different things. Because I'll be honest, I've been out of things for a little bit, being banned off Twitter, and I just don't know as much of the inside info as I did just a couple months ago. So divesting your fiat into a hard money like Bitcoin is basically the only option. And you're really it's the most practical thing anybody could do, is just divest all your fiat into Bitcoin. And that, people think you're just buying Bitcoin, but that's not necessarily the case. I honestly can't believe that you can still exchange worthless dollars that nobody wants for the hardest money in the entire world. It's the equivalent of you showing up with some dirt and dumping it on the counter at the bank and demanding gold bars. That should never happen, and it won't ever happen. But for some reason, there's a limited window where you can exchange fiat, which is worthless dirt, for the hardest money in the world. And it's going to give you the largest leg up, the largest advantage that the general public could possibly have in a new financial system, because, I mean, as far as I know, this is the first time that the general public has been able to front run the just the top investor class, the people who have like access to the most exclusive investing vehicles, are being now on the same playing field as everybody else. And so if you're not taking advantage of that, you know, they're going to tell you in the future, not me, that sorry, you had your chance like everybody else, because this is the first time in history that anybody's been able to front run an asset, a brand new asset. This is the first time in hundreds of years a brand new asset's been created. I mean, people just don't understand the magnitude of how big all this is and why it's so important to not have fiat. You know, only keep fiat that you're willing to lose, and never, you know, accept, you know, less for Bitcoin. You know, you set your Bitcoin price because it's Bitcoin denominated and not fiat denominated. You know, if I say you did a service, if you're a plumber and you went and did a service and it was $5,000 worth of work, well, you could ask minimum that in Bitcoin or even more, because the fiat money is so useless and worthless. And right now we're in the arbitrage of Bitcoin, where you can take advantage of people not understanding the true value and the true price, because $5,000 worth of Bitcoin right now could be worth $100,000 worth of Bitcoin in a couple years, especially if literally all of the treasuries and bonds and all of those types of markets, including gold, just flood into Bitcoin with tens, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars. So yeah, it hasn't done what we wanted it to do, but that doesn't mean that it won't, and it's definitely headed there. So I just want to put that out there. You're divesting fiat. You're not necessarily buying Bitcoin, and the reason you're doing that is because it's just so much more important. So I just want to put that out there. Stoffel Baker out.